Welcome. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Welcome to Philosophy of Mathematics. We want to answer the question, did human beings invent mathematics or they discovered mathematics? Before human beings existed, was 2 plus 2 equals to 4? Think carefully about that. Did numbers, as we know them, 0 to 9 exist? Or the numbers were invented by the human being? I want you to think about that carefully. Before there were schools, before there were even books, before there were mathematicians, before there were even human beings at all, was it still true that two objects plus another two objects will make 4? Or did human beings decide that? If the answer is yes, then mathematics existed before humanity. If the answer is no, then mathematics is a human invention. Let that sink in. And suddenly, mathematics becomes far stranger than most people realize. Most people think mathematics is about calculation, exams, equation, homework. But beneath all that lies profound philosophical question that's mysterious. What exactly is mathematics? If asked what is mathematics, what would you answer to that question? Can we study, talk about something that we do not know how even to define it? Did we invent, or did we just discover something that was already existing somewhere already? No one really has an answer to this question. I want you to imagine a child picking up stones. 1 stone, 2 stones, 3 stones. The child did not invent the stones, but did the child invent the numbers 1, 2, 3? Or was 3 already a feature of reality waiting to be recognized? This question has fascinated thinkers, philosophers, and mathematicians for thousands of years. One answer comes from Plato. Plato believed mathematical truths existed independently of human beings. In other words, before human beings ever existed, there was mathematics. Then the question you need to ask yourself, if there was mathematics, where was that mathematics? Who was with it? In this view, circles, triangles, numbers, and mathematical relationship like 2 plus 2 are discovered rather than invented. Human beings do not create mathematics. They uncover it. They discover it the same way an explorer will discover a mountain, a river, or something interesting geographical feature. This position became known as mathematical realism. Notice something strange. Scientific theories can change, political opinions can change, cultures do change. To some extent, even religion does change. But the statement 2 plus 2 is equals 4 does not change. It remains true whether you live in Nairobi, New York, or even when you're aboard spaceship traveling to moon. The statement that 2 plus 2 equals 4 is static. It does not change. In every possible world, the idea of 2 plus 2 equals 4 remains true. In that sense, mathematics appears to possess a kind of universality unlike almost anything else. Thousands of years ago, Pythagoras made a radical claim. He believed reality itself is fundamentally mathematical. he thought that music, geometry, and astronomy all revealed mathematical or numerical relationship. To Pythagoras, numbers were not merely tools. They were not just mental tools. They were the hidden architecture of reality. But then the deeper mystery emerges. Why does mathematics describe the universe so well? Was mathematics invented, or did it exist before the universe? We can imagine the human beings, mathematics existing before human beings. But if mathematics explains the whole of the universe, does that mean that mathematics existed before the universe? And how do those symbols of mathematics enter our head? And how can those symbols that we may assume have been created by our mind predict such big things like eclipse? How can it build bridges? How can it guide spacecraft from Earth to go circle the moon and come and land back precisely as it was planned? How does it explain the black holes? The physicist Eugene Wigner wondered about this, and he wrote a paper, Unreasonableness or Unreasonable Effectiveness of Mathematics. No one fully understands why mathematics maps onto reality so successfully. Then mathematics begins asking questions that seem even impossible. Imagine mathematics asking, what is infinity? Most people think infinity simply means a very large number that can't be counted. But if you think about it, we can't count to the end of numbers, because when you reach just the end of a number, we just need to add one, and then we have a new number. And that makes numbers infinite. Mathematics discovered something even stranger, that sometimes mathematicians do wonder about it, that some infinities are larger than other infinities. So in other words, we have different types of infinities. There are some infinities that are larger than other infinities. That's just even mind-warping. And this is about mathematics, something that happens in our mind, but we do not know where it came from. Did we discover it? Did we invent it? An infinity set of whole numbers, an infinity set of real numbers, both are infinity, but they are not the same infinity. They are not equally infinite. Isn't that amazing? Mathematics becomes almost philosophical science fiction at this point. And I want you to consider something else that's more strange. Consider zero, as simply representing nothing. Ancient civilizations struggled with the idea of zero. In fact, the Roman Empire, with all its invention, it did not have zero, and it made its mathematics very difficult. Now, can nothing be something? Because when you think about it, zero plays a very huge role in mathematics. Can you imagine a 10 without a zero, a 20 without a zero, 1,000, a million? Can you imagine how our mathematics would be difficult without zeros? And yet, modern mathematics use this nothing that is something. Science, computing, economics depend on this nothing that is something. One of the most important ideas in history, in this case called nothing, became something very important. Mathematics is deeply connected with logic. Both logic and mathematics seek certainty. Both seek structures. Both seek truths that follow necessarily from other truths. In many ways, mathematics is actually logic made visible. And whether people realize it or not, you live inside mathematics every day. Music follows ratios, architecture follows geometry, technology follows algorithm, finance needs calculation, and navigation follows coordinates. Even the social media that you're going to receive this message on, its feeds are driven by mathematical systems. The philosophy of mathematics reveals that something is extraordinary. In this, human beings are capable of discovering truths that are not dependent on opinion. Mathematics actually transcends language, culture, politics, religion, and a theorem proven in one century will remain true in another century. Mathematics ideas are not like the ideas in sociology, economics, history, political science, anthropology. Mathematics ideas never change. So for any subject that you study, for it to come so close to describing reality, it has to be possible to mathematize it. If it can't be turned into a mathematical, it becomes a bit loose. It can rely on opinion. It can rely on emotions and feelings. And that's why you find some of the ideas that emerge in social sciences like psychology, sociology, can have really difficult problem, even political science. Very few human achievement possesses the kind of permanence that mathematics have. So perhaps the deepest question that remains unanswered: did human beings invent mathematics, or did we discover a hidden structure woven into reality itself? Perhaps every equation is not merely a calculation, but a glimpse into the architecture of the universe. In this sense, to study mathematics is ultimately to ask whether reality itself is written in numbers, equations, or calculation. I hope you have enjoyed another video from me on philosophical challenging ideas that I think everyone should know.